This video is proudly sponsored by Oxide Hosting. With this hosting company, you can never go wrong. They provide outstanding customer support and all for a low price. Their services range from website hosting to Minecraft server hosting. If you are interested in them, be sure to check out the link in the description below.
Hey, it's me, Duncan, and welcome back to another MenuDocs tutorial. In this tutorial, I will be showing you how to get your JDA bot on a VPS to make it run 24/7. For this tutorial, you will need a VPS, an SSH client like Putty, your Discord bot, and FileZilla. Oxide Hosting provided us with the VPS for this episode, so that's what we are going to use. Now let's get over to the computer and start moving our bot to the VPS. So right now we have arrived on my computer, and you can't see it in the frame, but it's actually down here. And what we see in front of us is IntelliJ. And within IntelliJ we need to run one simple command, which is /gradlew. And if you're on Windows, you want to use gradlew.bat, which is the batch file variant for Windows operating systems. But we're on Linux, so we're gonna use the gradlew file. And then we're gonna run the build command. This is if you're using Gradle. If you're using Maven, the command is mvn install. And if you downloaded a jar off the internet, good luck. I have no idea how that works. So we're gonna hit enter, and Gradle is going to build our jar. And as you can see, it's already done. So the next thing we will do is go over to FileZilla. And as you can see, I already navigated to the folder where my bot is in. The details to connect to our VPS are in an email we received from Oxide. So as you can see, we have some details, and I removed some parts from the email for security reasons. And one of them is the main IP address of the server. But for this tutorial, I hooked the server up to a domain name, which is vps.menudocs.org. And vps.menudocs.org is our host name of the server, so we're gonna paste that in. If you don't have your server's IP connected to a domain, you should enter your server's IP in the host field. The username is going to be root, and the password is going to be the password provided over here in the email. We're gonna paste that in the password box, and the port will be 22. Then we're gonna hit quick connect. It's gonna connect. The reason that we can connect right now without having to install any FTP software on our server is because we're using FTP over SSH. And SSH is by default supported on a VPS. So now that we are on our server, we can right click over here and select create new directory and enter it. The directory that we're going to create is called bot, and it will automatically navigate us to the directory now. The first thing that we want to upload is the botconfig.json file. So we're gonna right click that and hit upload. And as you can see, it's now uploaded. Next up, we want to go to build and then ellipse. And as you can see, we have two jar files over here. One has -all at the end, and the other one doesn't. We need to select the jar that is the biggest, because that one contains all the dependencies that we need for the bot. In this case, it's the -all one. As you can see by the number, it's the largest one. So we're gonna right click that and upload. So right now that all our files have been uploaded, we can close the SSH connection and close off FileZilla. The next step is to open your SSH client. Because my computer has an SSH client built in, I don't need to use Putty. To check if your computer has an SSH client built in, you can type the simple command SSH in your terminal, and you should see this. If you don't see this, it means that you don't have SSH installed on your computer, and you need to download a client first. To SSH into our server, we can type SSH, the username, at the host or IP address, and in this case it's vps.menudocs.org. Right now it asks us for the password. I still have it on my clipboard, so I'm gonna hit enter there. And voila, we're now on the server. Now that we are on the server, we need to run a few commands. I have those commands over here. The first one is sudo apt update. And this update command will reload all the package repositories so that we can install Java, because that's the next step. For the JDA tutorials I used Java 10, so I'm going to install Java 11. If you use Java 8 or any lower, it doesn't matter, you would still be able to run it on Java 11. But Java 11 is the easiest to install right now, so I'm just gonna paste this command in here, which is sudo apt install openjdk-11-gre-headless. When we hit enter, it's gonna ask us if we want to install it. We're gonna hit yes, and we're gonna wait to install this. By the way, all the commands that I'm currently typing into the console will be linked in the description as a txt file, so you can copy and paste them over. And now that Java is installed, we can go to the directory of our bot. We do that using cd for change directory. We're gonna type bot and we're gonna press tab so it auto-completes. Now we're gonna hit enter and we can list the files using ls. As you can see, if we list the files in the directory, you can see our JDA tutorials jar and the bot config.json. To run this jar, we can type java-jar JDA tutorials and we're gonna hit enter. Right now it's going to boot up the bot. And as you can see, we are logged in as MenuDocs JDA. If we now go over to Discord and we type !ping, you can see that we have our ping. This means that the bot is running on the VPS. There's only one slight problem. If we close this terminal, the bot will stop. So to keep it running while we close the terminal, we're going to use a program called tmux. To install tmux, you want to type sudo apt install tmux. And again, it will ask you if you want to install tmux. We're gonna hit yes. Now that tmux is installed, we can type tmux new -s and we're gonna give the tmux session a name. In this case, I'm gonna call it bot. So right now we have a new tmux session ready to go. And we can just type java-jar and the name of our jar and it will boot up. To close this tmux session, you want to press Ctrl B, let go and hit D. This will detach us from our tmux session and leave it running in the background. Don't be afraid to play around with tmux because there's a lot of fun stuff you can do with it. I'll leave a link to a cheat sheet down below. So now that our bot is running in our tmux session, we can log out, we can close our terminal, and we say !uptime. Hi 2D, welcome in the video. And as you can see, the bot is still running even though we have no terminal open. So that brings us to the end of this video. If you liked it, make sure to leave a like. Subscribe to MenuDocs if you haven't already. And I see you guys next time with another video on MenuDocs. Bye!
Yeah, that body's a blessing, girl. I ain't trying to pressure her. She messed with the temperature. I wrote the song, but I am the messenger. Through the metropolis, there is no stopping this. Flowers and kisses, yeah. I heard you like chocolate. Light up the candles.